Today we're going to be doing another brand deep dive, and this one I have been working on for the past year because I wanted to make sure that I'm able to stop by as many of their boutiques as I possibly can, buy, try and play around with some of their most iconic pieces, the ones that this brand is well known for, speak to people working for this brand just to get a true feel for what this brand is all about, and also speak to some of my friends who live and breathe Loro Piana, because it is finally time to discuss my very honest thoughts on one of the most iconic yet understated luxury brands, Loro Piana, the brand that serves the true luxury connoisseur. For decades, this brand has been the definition of if you know, you know. So if you'd like to hear my thoughts on whether or not Loro Piana is worth your hard-earned money, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Promise me in the comment section that you won't faint when you hear some of these prices, and keep on watching. If you're new here, you might not be familiar with my The Truth series, where I basically try to take a deep dive into some of the most iconic and most popular luxury brands. I have done reviews on Van Cleef, Cartier, Moina, Delvaux, and I think the list goes on. But the next in our series is going to be Loro Piana, discussing not only everything that you need to know about this brand, including their heritage, their history, their most iconic pieces, but also my honest thoughts on what to buy from these brands and what to skip. So if you'd like to hear my thoughts on other brands too, I will make sure to have my playlist linked down below for you. But let's jump into talking about Loro, as some of the insiders call it. Loro Piana is one of the most iconic luxury brands, but it's not one that you see too often, and that is for a reason. It is it's not really a secret, yet it can often feel like it, because their pieces are really understated, they are really subtle, they speak for themselves, and you will only recognize a Loro Piana piece if you know what to look for, what are the little details that are telltale signs of true luxury. But if we're talking about Loro Piana, we cannot do that without talking about their heritage, because it's something that they are incredibly proud of, and it is something that is to this day interwoven into everything that they do. And Loro Piana's heritage actually goes back to the early 1800s, because that's when the Loro Piana family first began trading wool, and it wasn't until 1924 that the Loro Piana company, as we know it today, was established. And within the next few decades, they became the go-to supplier of the finest wool and cashmere textiles for the most skilled bespoke tailors in the world that really craft suits as if it was an art form, and at the time still growing haute couture industry, which by the way hasn't changed since. Loro Piana not only offers an incredible range of luxury pieces that you can buy directly from the brand, but they also continue to sell their fabrics. So you might have suits or more formal pieces in your collection that you perhaps didn't purchase directly from Loro Piana, but the brand that you bought them from used Loro Piana fabrics to create their pieces. So they not only sell their incredible pieces, but also have basically grant access to some well-known brands to their fabric portfolio. So to this day, you can still find raw materials, fabrics out there that are produced using Loro Piana's highest quality raw materials. But of course, Loro Piana keeps the best of the best for themselves, which is something that we will move on to in a second. But if you're wondering, when did Loro Piana become a brand that sells their own pieces that have the Loro Piana label inside? It was in 1970 that Loro Piana decided to expand their horizon and their offerings and established Loro Piana, the brand that focused on, and still does, on unmatched quality, timeless shapes and styles that will last a lifetime, and pieces that allow the cuts, the fits, the materials, the colors to speak for themselves rather than rely on heavy branding. Not to say that none of Loro Piana's pieces are branded, because one of their most popular pieces, their caps that they do for men every single season, are really quite obviously branded. They do have a new bag, which is actually the first bag that ever featured the Loro Piana logo being embossed on the exterior. So they do have some pieces that are more obviously Loro Piana, but across the board, I would say that you have to be in the know. And if you are, there's no doubt you will spot a Loro Piana piece from a mile away. But it is a brand that tends to be more understated, which is a concept that you might be familiar with, especially if you saw my video on the quiet luxury movement, because Loro Piana, I would say they pretty much single-handedly invented the quiet luxury trend before it was even a thing or even a trend. So if you prefer understated, timeless pieces, ones that you can invest in and you know will last a lifetime, Loro Piana is the brand for you. All of their pieces are proudly handmade in Italy, made of the highest quality materials. And as you know, Loro Piana's background is in textile production, so you can be assured that you are getting the very best, because if anyone knows how to find the highest quality, most precious fibers, it is Loro Piana. And you're not only getting pieces that are rooted in the brand's heritage, but Loro Piana is very big on continuously investing in cutting edge innovation and bringing you the best of the best. And speaking of the best of the best, as I mentioned, there are fabrics that Loro Piana grants access to, but of course the most precious fibers they reserve for themselves. So there are exclusive pieces and materials that they use to produce some incredibly luxurious pieces that you will not be able to find anywhere else. Before we move on to some of my product recommendations on where to start your Loro Piana collection, I did want to briefly discuss some of the most exclusive pieces that Loro Piana offers, because I want you to be aware of what you are paying for, or if you walk into a Loro Piana store and you look at a price tag, what's really behind those prices, other than of course marketing, because there's no doubt that Loro Piana is a luxury brand, and of course you're not only paying for the raw materials, but you're also paying for the experience and the very, very, very subtle branding. But without further ado, let's discuss, why don't we go from the least expensive materials to some of the most ridiculously priced ones, because let me tell you, some of these price tags will make you gasp. Some of these made me gasp, and I am someone who is very familiar with luxury, and I have been aware of Loro Piana for quite a while now, but some of them even I find shocking. But let's start with one of their more common materials, which is their baby cashmere. Now, their baby cashmere is an incredibly soft, sumptuous, plush cashmere, probably one of the softest, most delicate cashmeres money can buy. If you love the feel of cashmere, but you don't like something really heavy, something full-bodied, baby cashmere is the one for you. Their baby cashmere comes from northern China and Mongolia, which by the way is where the best cashmere always comes from. But this particular cashmere, as the name suggests, actually comes from the under fleece of baby goats. So as you can imagine, you cannot collect nearly as much fur and fiber from a baby goat as you could from a full-on grown-up goat. So there is much less material that you can collect, but the fiber that you're able to gather is a lot softer and it is a lot more delicate. So if you are looking to start your Loro Piana collection, you are looking for something new, baby cashmere pieces are a great place to start because they are unique to Loro Piana. I mean, Brunello also offers baby cashmere, but their cashmere is quite different from Loro Piana's. Loro Piana's tends to be a lot lighter, a lot softer. It's almost somewhere between merino wool and cashmere. Even though it is technically cashmere, it has a similar feel to me as merino wool. Of course, it is a lot softer and it is a little bit more full-bodied, but they offer a ton of different things in baby cashmere, so it would be a really good place to start. And speaking of wool, if you are looking for the world's finest, most precious merino wool, Loro Piana is your go-to, because they do have a trademark material called the Gift of Kings, which is a fabric that I discussed in a recent video of mine where I shared with you my t-shirt made of the Gift of Kings. And if you don't mind spending over $1,600 on a single t-shirt, this is certainly something that you could look into. Now, the Gift of Kings is a material that Loro Piana has a ton of different pieces in. They offer trousers, they offer jackets, they offer t-shirts and sweaters in this extremely precious merino wool material. And if you're wondering what makes this so special, what makes it different from other merino wools out there, well, if you're familiar with natural fibers, you know that they are measured in microns, and the lower the micron number means a finer fiber. Regular merino wool usually measures somewhere between 15, I think, to 25 microns. Grade A cashmere can go as low as 14 microns, and then silk is between 8 to 12 microns, while the Gift of Kings is only 12 microns, which tells you that it is closer to silk than any other material. And to be really honest with you, based on my experience wearing their t-shirt in the Gift of Kings, it feels like silk, it drapes like silk, it has a similar sheen as silk does, yet it is a lot more dense. It is as dense as merino wool, so it is a really unique material that you won't find anywhere else. Now, does that justify the price tag? Not in my opinion, especially considering the quality. And a question that I got in my video sharing the Gift of Kings t-shirt is how I care for these pieces. So I will have almost all of my Loro Piana pieces strictly dry cleaned. I know that in theory you can wash them at home, you can hand wash them. Even my washer and dryer has a gentle cycle, but I just don't trust myself. So all of these precious fibers that I own will go direct to the dry cleaner. I am wearing a Loro Piana t-shirt today. This isn't made of the Gift of Kings material because it is way too hot to wear something that is as dense as that t-shirt. This is made of a simple cotton material, which is something that we'll talk about. So this is not nearly as expensive as my t-shirt made of the Gift of Kings. This, I think I paid the very humble price of $500-600 for, which feels like a bargain compared to $1,600 for a single t-shirt. Even though it's not, it's still a ridiculous amount of money to spend on a simple t-shirt. But this is something that I would feel comfortable washing at home, whereas all my wool and cashmere pieces go directly to the dry cleaner. But anyway, do I think that the Gift of Kings is worth the money? When it comes to the t-shirt, yes, it's a beautiful piece. It drapes like nothing else. I don't think that it is worth the price, especially considering that it is something that we'll wear just like any other t-shirt out there. The big difference is that this costs a lot more than a regular t-shirt. But if you would like to see close-ups, hear my more in-depth review of that t-shirt, I will make sure to have my t-shirt deep dive linked in the info box for you. But the Gift of Kings is something that is offered in a ton of different pieces, including in trousers and jackets. So if you are considering adding something to your collection made of this material, I would suggest looking at some of their jackets, which will set you back a pretty penny, but they are definitely beautifully made. Jumping to the next tier of precious fibers, let's quickly discuss the lotus flower fiber, which I don't think Loro Piana uses that often. It's usually reserved for some of their iconic summer pieces, but it is a really interesting material that is actually collected by hand only for a few months each year. It's not something that can be harvested all year round. I think there are only a few months each year when these pieces can be gathered in Myanmar off the lakes, and they're actually spun and woven by hand to create this really beautiful, breathable, crease resistant material that feels more similar to linen, yet it is a lot softer and it won't crease quite like linen does. But if you love linen and you're looking for something that feels a lot more luxurious than even the most expensive linen fiber, which Loro Piana does have a range of linen pieces, so if you're looking for some great summer staples that won't completely kill your bank account, Loro Piana does have some standard linen pieces, which are of course beautifully crafted. But if you're looking for the very best that looks and feels like linen, but is a lot more crease resistant, is more breathable, is a little softer, Loro Piana does offer their so-called the Lotus pieces, usually only to some of their best and most valued clients. As you probably noticed, Loro Piana is very passionate about bringing you the best of the best, not only the most beautiful, most intricately crafted pieces, but also things that are made of the finest materials out there. They pay attention to every single detail from the very inception of the material that their pieces are made out of. And if you're looking for something truly unique, something, I mean, the most precious material that money can buy, Loro Piana has something in store for you, which is called the vicuña. Now, the vicuña material is one of the finest, rarest, most precious materials in the world that actually comes from an at one point virtually extinct animal, which I think I mentioned this before, but they kind of resemble a llama, and I'm not sure if that's biologically accurate, but they kind of remind me of a llama. Over the years, these animals have become the national animal of Peru. And what makes it really hard for Loro Piana and every other brand to get their hands on these animals is that they cannot be domesticated, unlike goats and other animals. So they need to live and stay in the wild. And at this point, there are only around 200,000 of them roaming around out there, and there are very strict rules on how much of their wool can be gathered. Now, one would think that if you're able to capture and shave one of these animals, you would have enough wool to go around for plenty of pieces, but that's actually not the case. Loro Piana says that it takes somewhere between 25 to 30 animals worth of wool for them to produce a single coat, which is just kind of ridiculous to think about, because compared to a goat, a vicuña looks a lot larger, but they only produce, I think each year you can only gather about half a kilo worth of fiber from a single vicuña, which is really not much, and it can take that long, an entire year, for their fur to grow back after being shaved. So it is an extremely complex process getting your hands on this particular fiber, but some people are obsessed. They say that there is nothing quite as soft, as luscious, as plush as vicuña. Vicuña is an extremely resilient material and fiber, so you can take a piece that's made of vicuña, shove it in your suitcase, and Loro Piana almost guarantees that as soon as you get to your destination and you take out your piece, as soon as you put it on a hanger, it should bounce right back. They are extremely warm, a lot warmer than cashmere, yet 10% lighter, which means they will keep you warm without the burden of heavy layers. And they do have a unique feel and finish to them. I think I mentioned this before too, but they have kind of like an oil slick feel to their pieces made of vicuña. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but you can tell when a piece is made of vicuña. But please don't forget that these pieces, yes, they are resilient, yes, they will last a long time, but they are very soft, very delicate fibers. So these pieces will fray, they will peel, just like any other piece out there. So these are not for you if you are trying to invest in a workhorse piece. If you are trying to add a vicuña piece to your collection, it is going to be something that you will have to be incredibly careful with. And when it comes to cleaning these pieces, I don't even know where you'd begin, because I honestly wouldn't trust even the best dry cleaner out there with a vicuña piece, because they are so incredibly delicate. But I mean, of course, you could ask Loro Piana what their recommendation is. I'm sure that they could point you in the right direction. And another thing that people love about vicuña, which I also almost forgot, is the natural color, which vicuña pieces tend to have this burnt, cinnamony kind of caramel natural color to them, which is not my personal favorite. Of course, they do dye vicuña, but a lot of their pieces are offered in that natural caramel tone, which looks not the best on me personally. But if you are looking for the truly finest, most precious materials out there, if money is no object and you would like to get the best of the best, according to Loro Piana, vicuña, I'm not sure if it's the best of the best, but it's certainly one of the most rare fibers that money can buy. I hope you enjoyed my masterclass on Loro Piana's most exclusive pieces. I wanted to make sure that you are aware of not only these materials, these pieces, but also if you were to buy one of these pieces, what you would be paying for. I think it's important for you to have a good understanding of why these pieces cost what they do. Of course, other than marketing, because I'm sure that that is a big chunk of the price tag. But without further ado, let's move on to some of their pieces that are more readily available, some of my favorite pieces from Loro Piana that I feel like would be an amazing way to jumpstart your Loro Piana collection, or add to your collection of more understated but beautifully crafted pieces, which by the way you can buy on My Teresa. And this video is not by any means sponsored by My Teresa, but they did send me a discount code, which has nothing to do with me. It is not linked to me in any shape or form. I think it was sent to a ton of YouTubers, including myself. So I did want to share it with you. It will get you 10% off your My Teresa purchase. And the reason I'm mentioning it here is because Loro Piana is sold on My Teresa. They have a huge selection of Loro Piana pieces, which if you can save 10% on, why wouldn't you? So I'm going to make sure to have that discount code link down below for you, which again, this is not sponsored. My Teresa has no idea that I'm going to be talking about them, but they did send me this discount code. So if you're going to buy something, really anything from My Teresa, including Loro Piana, you can use that discount code. I think the email said that it's going to be valid until like the 19th of September. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it said the 19th of September, but I'm going to have it linked down below for you. You can use it on anything on My Teresa, including Loro Piana. I think the only requirement is that your purchase has to be above $500 and you have to start a new account, which I mean, you can just sign up with a new email address and it should get you 10% off anything across the My Teresa site. But if you're intrigued by any one of these pieces from Loro Piana, they are of course going to be linked in the info box for you. I just wanted to mention it here, but again, this is not a sponsored video by My Teresa. I do love them. I order a lot of my things, including my Loro Piana pieces, from them, and I just thought I would mention it here in case you are trying to save some money on your next luxury purchase. But without further ado, let's jump into talking about my favorite Loro Piana pieces. And I want to start with a pair of shoes, but it won't be the shoes that everyone knows and loves from Loro Piana, which is the Summer Walk. I did talk about those shoes in my Milan vlog, so I'm not going to waste your time by repeating myself. Long story short, I think they're great if you have a really formal, really tailored wardrobe. They're a great way to dress down an outfit, but they will never dress you up. So if you're hoping to wear them with jeans, with a really casual outfit, they will not work. They only work if you have a more formal approach to fashion, and they will have to counterbalance a formal look, but they will not look great with a more formal outfit. In my opinion, they will look out of place. So long story short, I like those shoes, but they are not my favorite. Instead, I would suggest looking into Loro Piana sneakers. And my favorite style of sneakers from Loro Piana is their so-called Newport sneakers, which are made of a really cool nylon material that is treated with their storm system. As you probably noticed in this video, Loro Piana is all about trademarking things and giving their treatments and unique fabrics a really cool, really innovative name. Well, Loro Piana is all about innovation, and they do have this storm system treatment that they use on a ton of different things, from shoes through caps all the way to jackets and pants, which should in theory make your pieces more water repellent and windproof. These shoes are included, so you know that they should stand not only the test of time but also the elements. And if you're looking for a pair of shoes that is the perfect balance of something casual, bold, kind of urban, and something a little bit more formal, if you're looking for a pair of shoes that genuinely go with anything and everything, this would be an amazing pair to look into. They are incredibly comfortable. I have tried them several times. I personally do not own these shoes. Why? They are just a little bit too formal on me. I much prefer things along the lines of my Celine sneakers, which I have just bought another pair of because I love and wear them so much. I prefer the Avantage, and I cannot really put my finger on what these shoes have in common other than the fact that they are wide, but there is something about that shape that I prefer. To me, the Newport is just a tiny bit more formal, which I don't need in my collection. I think these shoes look a lot better with pants that are not quite as fitted as the ones that I tend to wear. But if you like regular straight cut jeans, if you wear a lot of tailoring pieces and you're looking to counterbalance that look with something a little bit more casual, the Newport sneakers are the best pieces to invest in, not to mention that they're really, really comfortable and they are beautifully understated. I couldn't make a list of recommendations without mentioning at least one cashmere piece from Loro Piana, considering that that's what the brand is most well known for. If you're looking to start your knit collection from Loro Piana without breaking the bank, looking at their baby cashmere pieces is a great way to start. I'm going to have some of my favorite styles linked down below for you, but they offer a ton of different pieces made of baby cashmere, which is a really soft, really plush and surprisingly lightweight cashmere material, which you can do so much with. I think these are some of the most multifaceted knits that Loro Piana does, because you can wear them on their own, you can layer them with other pieces. I don't think that they are too overwhelming and overbearing as some high quality cashmere pieces can be. They're really the perfect versatile piece to have in your knit arsenal that I feel like anyone could take advantage of. So I'm going to make sure to have some of my baby cashmere pieces linked down below for you. And if you're worried about price, because Loro Piana is so expensive, I'm not going to say that these pieces are inexpensive by any means. I think their crew necks start usually at around $1,600-$1,700, so are definitely up there. But compared to vicuña and other materials, and considering the fact that these are things that will last a really long time in your collection, they might be worth looking into, especially if you can get 10% off on your Loro Piana purchase. My favorite pieces from Loro Piana are by far their city pants, which feature 2 pleats on each side. I don't think they're called actually pleats in men's tailoring. There's a name for them, because I think pleats is what women's tailoring uses, or plissé. There's a name for pleats in men's tailoring, which I can't remember, but these city pants feature the 2 pleats on each side. If I can remember, I'll put the technical term up on the screen here. But anyway, these are a pair of pants. This is a style that Loro Piana offers every single season in a ton of different materials. In the summer, they make them out of linen and cotton. In the fall winter, they'll offer them in wool. They also do these pants in the Gift of Kings. I mean, these are just one of their classic staple pants, and I feel like the fit and the cut of these pants, there's nothing quite like it out there. So if you don't mind spending, I think these pants start at around $1,000 and they go up to $4,000 or $5,000 in more precious materials. These pants you have to look into, or at least just try, because I can tell you that there isn't another pair of pants out there that fits quite like these do. A piece that is quite new to my collection, but I have to be honest, I bought my first belt from Loro Piana earlier this year, and I have almost exclusively worn that belt ever since I bought it. I haven't really reached for any other belt because it just simply goes with everything. It is the most beautiful, delicious, understated belt that money can buy. I think it is called, and I'm going to butcher it, but it kind of sounds like All's Well. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but that's kind of what the name sounds like. I mean, it's going to be easy to find because Loro Piana doesn't do too many belts. They do a woven belt, and then they do this one for men every single season, but they do change up the colors and the materials that this belt is made out of. Now, personally, my favorite finish in this belt is suede, but they also offer it in grained leather and exotic skins in a ton of beautiful, rich, deeply saturated tones, with a really simple, subtle, understated belt buckle that I feel like adds just the perfect finishing touch to any trouser in your collection. So if you're looking for a new belt, please do not sleep on Loro Piana belts, because they are just the cherry on top. And last but not least, how could I not mention a Loro Piana bag in this video, because I am a huge fan of Loro Piana's bags, especially the Extra Pocket, which I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this bag for 2 reasons. Number 1, I already talked about these bags in a recent shopping vlog of mine, and number 2, next week I'm going to be doing, or maybe the week after, a deep dive dedicated to Loro Piana bags. We're going to be going through every single Loro Piana bag out there that I think you should put on your radar, which of course will include the Extra Pocket. And the reason we're not doing that today is because there is a new Loro Piana bag launching. I think it's officially launching the day this video goes live, which is September 7th, but I'm not exactly sure, so I want to double check that I'm allowed to share the pictures that I took and the videos that I filmed with that new bag. So stay tuned, because there is a new bag launching, which is going to be included in my next video. But in the meantime, I did want to mention the Extra Pocket, which is by far one of my most favorite designer bags. If you're looking for one of those pieces that genuinely goes with anything and everything, something that is so incredibly chic yet understated, the Extra Pocket is the perfect bag to go for. I love the shape, how it is a really formal, really elegant, really refined shape, yet it has a casual twist because of the robust industrial looking zip and the really fun charm inspired little zip tabs. I think this bag would be able to do so much for you. The quality is outstanding. They offer it in a ton of different colors and leathers. They do have a shoulder strap, which I think is a big luxury when it comes to this bag, but I think this is a piece that could become a workhorse bag that you carry on a daily basis. Of course, it also depends on which size you go for, because it is currently being offered in 2 different sizes. There was a point in time when there was an even smaller size, but currently you can pick it up in 2 different sizes, both of which I shared in my last Loro Piana vlog. So if you'd like to learn more about this bag, I will make sure to have my last Loro Piana vlog linked in the info box for you. But long story short, if you are looking for a designer bag that is not only incredibly crafted, but is a piece that you can genuinely wear on a daily basis, you don't have to baby it, it won't give you a headache in terms of what to style it with and how to carry it, this is a great piece to look into. Now, it is not going to be easy to get your hands on purely because of the demand for this bag, but if you find one, I wouldn't hesitate getting it and adding it to your collection if you feel it's something that you would be able to take advantage of. And my friends, this concludes today's deep dive on Loro Piana, the truth about Loro Piana. I really hope you enjoyed it. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Do you have any experience with this brand? Do you own anything from Loro Piana? Would you be open to trying something from this brand? A brand that truly serves the luxury connoisseur, those who are more interested in quality rather than obvious branding. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say in the comment section. And while you're down there, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I really appreciate you being here and watching, and I cannot wait to see you back here with, I think my next video is going to be a bag review, after which we might be doing a Loro Piana bag deep dive.